There were definitely some choices that I detest. The Felicification of one of the contestants, if you understand that. I did not like that personally. Howdy, Meowers.
Howdy. How, wait, I'm not a meower. Never mind.
You're not a Meower.
Oh, I mean, would, RM be army?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I guess I'm a meower. Howdy.
Howdy, I'm Almohnd.
Almond? Oh, because Almond talks about Boys Planet.
Almohnd talks about Boys Planet. So today we're talking about Boys Planet yet again.
Okay, welcome back, Almond. And everyone, hello, I'm Devin. We're talking about Boys Planet today.
We already talked about Boys Planet in episode 2, so if you missed that and want to hear some of our takes, you can go and check out episode 2. But today, we're actually getting into discussions about the performances themselves. We're going to talk about if we liked them, if we didn't, stuff like that.
Yes, and listener discretion is advised. If you do not want Boys Planet spoilers, and I don't just mean spoilers of the show, I mean if you do not want us to spoil the love that you had for the performances that you saw, or for the boys that you've been voting for, then you are not prepared for this episode, okay? Because just get ready to hear us nitpick and break apart every single thing these people have ever done in their life that they thought was good.
Are we really doing that? I didn't come prepared for that.
But I want the people to be prepared, you know?
Okay.
If they're not prepared for that, I mean, if they're prepared for that, then they'll be prepared for what we have to say, because that's not going to be as bad.
Okay.
But also, like, I am probably going to be seen or viewed as quite a negative Nancy with this or something, you know? Like, it's going to seem, people are going to be like, why do you hate everything?
Okay, that's, listeners have been advised, so
yes.
They're going into it. Everybody, you should know what you're getting into, okay?
I'm just trying to use fairness, because everyone seems to want to nitpick and break apart like one or two specific people that are on the show. So I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to criticize those people in that way, then let me criticize the ones that you seem to have a blind eye towards criticizing.
Okay, well, so we're going to be starting right from the very beginning, the star level tests. If we have anything to say about that, we're going to say it. And right up until the most recent performances, the artist battle, because Boys Planet is still going. They haven't had the final episodes yet, so, we don't have, like, any sort of last missions to talk about. But we're going to talk about everything from the star level test to the artist battle.
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump right into the star level test.
Those were so long ago I can hardly even remember them. Plus, I mean, it was weird because I didn't know the people then, you know?
Yeah, and they didn't show all of the star level tests. So if you didn't go to the mnet YouTube channel and watch them on your own, you didn't even see all of them. So, yeah.
True.
I would like to talk about Hui's and say that it was good.
Yes, that it was.
Like, he did, the composition or whatever of the Blackpink song on his own, went out there, performed it in front of everybody, and is met with deliberation, which I still don't understand why they even had to act like they needed to consider anything about that compared to everybody else's performance, but whatever, he did a good job, which we already talked about in episode 2, but
it's almost like within the, I can't say within the industry, because it definitely isn't that way for other idols, but like those judges or other people like that within the industry, it's almost as if it's the cool thing is to like not think that Hui is good.
Which doesn't make any sense. But that's the way that it is.
Like all of the other people, other idols and people like that are always like, oh my god, wow, we love it. And then the other people are like, I don't really think I can love this if I want to be liked by my peers. Like, it's weird. The judges are all like, it's like they have to not be a fan or something.
Yeah. Well, aside from Hui, I think that Sung Hanbin's star level test was good, and it was like a palate cleanse from all the really not so great ones that they were making us sit through the entire episode. But like, obviously, I think they put it. They put that there, and then all the bad ones, because we know Mnet is really pushing Sung Hanbin. So now, like, looking back, it all makes sense why it was so good. He did ONF Beautiful Beautiful.
Oh. I still don't remember it.
Well, I thought it was really good. And, of course, like, he had that tutting battle with Lip J.
Oh, God.
Which was pretty iconic, but at the same time, like, I didn't really care for how there were trainees getting, like, extra moments. Like, I thought it should just be, like, a little bit of, like, hi, I'm blah, 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 and then they do the song and move on. But there were people doing, like, oh, can I show this dance? And I didn't really care for when there was the whole, like, checking of the positions thing and the, like, bringing out the violin. Like, if they made a time for everybody to do that, it would have been different. But they only had certain people do stuff like that. And then the trainees who would be like, oh, can I just do this dance to this song real quick? But I guess they were doing stuff like that way back then on Produce 101 Season 1. But I feel like it was mostly the actual judges or masters or whatever who would be like, can you show us a little more?
Yeah. Yeah, now that you bring up that, like, sort of vibe, that was definitely a bit frustrating at times, especially because they used up time to show that sort of stuff in an episode. Like, they didn't show some people's auditions at all. Some people got 0 screen time in order for other people to not only get their audition shown, but get all that extra stuff shown.
Yeah, just once again, like, showing Mnet isn't being fair, and they've already had people that they want to push from the very beginning.
Yeah, and they were like, it was extra weird because, or bad in my opinion, because it was like people asking to show things. And so it's like, if you're like a nice moral person that isn't going to like take more because you want everyone to have their equal chance, then you're not going to ask. And it's the people that are like, pushy or cutthroat or egotistical that are going to be like, oh, can I show you this? And it's like, it's just like, oh, well, I could have showed them my talent too, but I wanted to not take more than my share. And because that's the other thing too, is a lot of the times it was just a fun, nice little talent. I'm like, that's so great. That boy that can do like 32 spins or whatever, like, that's really cool and great of you, like, nice little talent you have there, but that doesn't make you be an idol. Like, I want to see your actual singing or dancing or rapping skills, like, in the sense of an idol. Okay, if you can do ballet or lyrical or whatever, we're not really seeing that as like a normal skill required to be a successful idol. That's like an extra thing that you can do if you want to like show off a special talent or genre on like some other type of, competition show or something. But it doesn't, if that's all you can do, then I wouldn't think you'd be a good idol.
I mean, I didn't agree that he was there doing that many spins right in that moment then. But like I thought, if he wanted to do it in the performance, like I think that's like a cool element to be able to showcase, like, that you could have show something different as an idol. Like,
yeah, in the performance it was fine, like, but the fact that they had extra time spent just so that they could count how many pirouettes he can do, it's like, we don't need to see him do 32 pirouettes, like, to know whether he's a good idol or not.
I think if they wanted to make time, like, if Mnet wanted trainees to be able to show things that might set them apart from other trainees that were auditioning, it should have been in that, like, that clip where they were all in, like, the black room. Like, that wasn't part of the episodes, it was before any episode was released, and like the Jaehwan and Eunbi and stuff were watching the footage, and Yujin, like, they had former mnet show people watching the clips come in. That it should have been a separate thing.
Like, the thing, I don't know exactly if this is what you're talking about, but I mean, you'll tell me in 2 seconds. The thing where Hui was playing his compositions on the keyboard?
No.
Okay, well, that thing is the time in the past from when I watched Produce... What?
Self-PR.
Yeah, when I watched Produce 101 Season 2... that's the only other time that I saw, like, that I watched those sorts of clips. But that was the time when you showed if you had a little random extra talent. He could have done his 32 pirouettes during that time. Like, and then, that's your, look at this cool thing that I can do, but not necessarily something that would mean that I'm a good idol. Like being able to make the raindrop noise with your mouth, like that one boy did from Season 2.
Okay, well, some other star level performances that I just want to talk about that I thought were good but didn't even get aired on the actual episode were the Vietnam trainees Kong and Dong Ho Hai, which we saw more of because they lasted for like a while. They did Shiny View and they did a good job, so I don't know why they didn't show that. And Sawon and Jiho from 9i did Attention by New Jeans, and like I thought they did a good job. That one has a lot of views, so at least a lot of people like have seen it, so they got some attention from that.
I didn't see it. I didn't give them my attention. I don't think I saw any star level tests that were aired on the show. I don't think I went and looked up any of them because I really probably only would have cared to see ones about people that I then cared about, but I didn't know who I cared about yet, so.
Umuti actually did really good. He did UN Village by Baekhyun, and like, I don't know, they didn't show that. I'm pretty sure they didn't show that in the episode, but he did a really good job. And Sungmin and Eungi, they did Bloom Bloom by the Boys, which honestly they didn't do the greatest, but they didn't do horrible. They did way better than a lot of people that they actually showed. And like, it's just so unfair how they've been to both Sungmin and Eungi the whole time. But that was just another example of not even airing their performance when a lot of people were probably waiting for it.
Like, I get that they need to make it entertaining. Like, they need to make people want to watch it. So they showed the best, ones, and they showed the worst ones. Like, they spent a lot of time on some ones that were really, really bad, and they knew that they were really bad. And then those people proceeded to get further in the competition than they should have. Like, they were not at the right skill level to continue on in the competition, but they got so much screen time that they kept getting votes. And I just feel like that's kind of weird because like I said, I get if you want to show some of the bad auditions, just like with American Idol, they love to show the bad auditions, but then those people don't get through because it's the judges saying, okay, you don't get through. And so it doesn't really matter if they wasted screen time on them. But when they put screen time on people that were really bad instead of the people that were like not super great but not bad either, then the not super great but could learn to get better people end up getting eliminated, and the really bad people that have been struggling the whole time keep staying.
Yeah. I'd also like to just shout out that the two Uptension members who are on the show, Hwanhee and Dongil, did Astro, Moonbin, and Sanha Who for their star level test, and it didn't get aired, but I appreciate that people chose that song. And also the Wake 1 K-group trainees did just like a good job in general.
Sounds like a lot of people that maybe came from somewhere that people would have known didn't get showed.
Yeah,
shown.
Which is kind of like it's kind of like a little bit better of a reason to choose not to show those ones, because like people would go looking for them as opposed to like the ones who haven't been anywhere else already. Like if they weren't in the episode, like people probably wouldn't check the videos on YouTube of them.
Yeah.
But still, they should have just, they should have balanced it better.
Yeah, because at the same time, then it looks really weird for them to spend as much time as they did on some of the people that were really known. Once again, like that seems unfair as well. Like Hui Jiyoung, that was like formerly an actor, and or well, not formerly an actor, but like he already had a following as an actor, and maybe an idol or something like that. I don't know, but like they spend a lot of time on those people. And then it's like, oh, but these other people are like, have a following as well, but you didn't show them. So then once again, it seems unfair in that sense.
Yeah. Okay. So the next set of performances, the first battle was the G versus K group battle, or like the K versus G performance. And like we talked about in episode 2, they split it for a long time, G versus K, but this was an official, like, they had 6 or 7 songs.
I think there were 7.
They had 7 songs to choose from, and the K group Korean trainees did the song, and the G group trainees did the same song.
Yeah, so we literally watched every single song twice and had to decide, do we think that the whole group of Koreans is better, or the group of non-Koreans that are clearly going to have a harder time learning the pronunciation and lyrics that quickly if they don't know Korean as well?
Yeah, literally. So it seems like, right away we are already faced with like, okay, so clearly we've got some sort of like mnet prioritization agenda going on with the Korean trainees. But I will say right now, I agree. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure it was the only global team to win was the Kill This Love G team. And I think I agree with that. Like, I do think that they were the only global team who deserved to win compared to all the other ones.
Yeah, I think they were the only ones that won, and it was kind of obvious that they were going to win or like do well because they had like most of the highest ranking G group trainees in their group. So it was like the all-star G group basically. And then of course, it was going to be difficult for the other G groups to do as well if, like, all of the best G group people were in that one performance, Yeah. Not all the best, but, like, it was a heavily stacked group. So it makes sense that that's the way that it all played out.
Yeah.
I will also say, though, about the Kill This Love one, the G group, that they did better. I feel like their ending was a little bit weak, and compared to the K group, I think they had maybe like a stronger end to theirs, like impact wise. And I think that the K group just did have an impressive, they were a group of not necessarily rejects, but they were a group of people that were just like not getting picked for anyone's team for the longest time. So I think they really still held their own, even though for some reason no one wanted to pick any of those trainees.
Yeah, I definitely think they did still did a good job. Like, it was really close.
Yeah.
But like, I personally preferred the G group performance, but they were both strong performances. Another really notable one was the Love Me Right performance, and that is mostly because Hui was on the Love Me Right team, and they made the whole big Hui versus J situation happen. And it's like, no matter what, praise J, no matter what, tell Hui that he's not doing a good enough job.
Yeah, quite ridiculous. I can write a book on the unfairness between comparing Hui and J. It makes no sense. Everyone's like, oh my god, Hui versus J, they're both the main vocal vibes, they're both these high note vibes, like, so we're gonna literally never ever stop comparing them with those two things, okay? But here's the thing, if you're gonna compare them on that, Can you please also compare them on dancing? Okay, because everyone seems to hate Hui for his dancing. Apparently, he's the worst dancer that has ever existed, according to how people treat him. They're like, wow, you can't dance, okay? But guess who else can't dance? Jay, okay? He can't dance either, and hot take maybe? I'm sorry. But I think that Hui is a more skilled dancer than Jay. So if you're going to put the two against each other, and you're gonna say that Jay is this infallible person that is only ever going to be better than Hui at everything because you think for some reason that you like his high notes better or something. Well, compare them in every way fairly and take a look, like, because here's the thing, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say, oh, Jay is the worst dancer in the whole world, you should hate him, like you guys are trying to say about Hui. I say you guys, but I'm talking to the Hui haters right now. What I'm trying to say is, if you are going to be critical about Hui's dancing, then you should be critical about Jay's dancing as well. That's the direction that I'm trying to put people's minds in. It's like, just don't be blind to Jay's dancing. Or if you're going to, then be blind to Hui's abilities with dancing as well, okay? Because I'd say that they're similar enough in both those aspects for you guys to be treating them more equally than you are. Hui haters and Jay lovers. You're not giving them.
You're just
the same,
asking for a fair evaluation.
Yes, exactly. And so that is in no way to say that you should also hate this from this person or you should also love this from this person. I'm just saying, if you are going to be blind to it for this one person, then be blind to it for the other. Or if you're going to hate it for this person, then hate it for, just be equal.
And once again, we know a good portion of it does boil down to Mnet's portrayal of all these people, what they have. I feel like they tell the Star Masters what to say a lot of the times and be like, oh, really tear Hui down for his dancing or for the way that he's trying to do this high note right now. And oh, really, when you're evaluating them today, slip a lot of compliments over to Jay. Like, I feel like they do get told how to react a lot of the times. And so, it's how we're seeing the editing. It's how we're hearing the judges' comments. Everything is factoring into everything.
Yeah, and also I'll say real quick, I just the Love Me Right G group performance, I was offended. The hats, the facial expressions, just absolutely not my style. I hated it. The tongue, not good, offensive. And K group, Yedam also did really well, and I feel bad for him because throughout the whole show he always did well, I think, and he got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, he did do well, and I feel like Love Me Right K team had a really good vibe, a really good bond. Like, I thought that it looked like they were having a lot of fun, and they all they did well with their part distribution, and it seemed like a theater kid type of bond for the Love Me Right K group performance.
I would go as far as to say Yeram was more impactful than Hanbin. Hanbin was the center, but Yeram was originally the center. And I think that he, as I was watching the performance, he had more of an impact to me. Hanbin had almost no impact for me. I don't know what he was bringing to the table as a center. So, yeah.
I will say that I do, when I think of that, the Love Me Right K team performance, one of the, I think of Hui being on it just because, when I think about Boys Planet, I think about Hui being on it. That's why I'm watching it. But I think of Yedam being on that team.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Impactful.
So another performance was the BTS Danger performances, and those were just not something that I need to spend too much time on, but I will talk about how Seunghwan was on the K team, and I think that was the whole doll helper team, the team that doll was like, oh, these are people who were really helpful to me, and since I get to pick the members of this team, I'm going to pick people who showed me kindness. But then there was some team dynamic issues, and in general, both the K group and G group struggled with that song, as did they Burn It Up, which I don't have anything to say about. But, you know, Danger K team, Seunghwan did a great job.
Yes, he did. When I rewatched it, I was like, oh my God, there's that dude, and look at how good he's doing. Like, because I didn't know him when I saw it the first time.
We saw the Ichon shaky eyes high note part about 20 times throughout every episode.
That boy, I have it written in my notes, that one boy. And that's all that I've written, because the K group Danger performance basically was that one boy, like, you cringing at it because he's cringing at himself for the whole performance.
Yeah, I felt so bad because, like, you could tell, like, when he was performing, like, literally, like, how he knew, oh man, like, he's like, this is not good for me.
Yeah, so I literally wrote for the G group performance, still bad, but less obvious. Because theirs wasn't good either, but at least when the boy was missing the notes that he missed or was struggling, he wasn't, like, looking as if he was dying.
Yeah, so that's really it that I have to say about Danger. And like I said, I kind of would like to gloss over Burn It Up and pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, Burn It Up was just, to put it as nicely as I can, let's say it was lackluster.
Yeah, lackluster. I would like to talk about the Aju Nice team, 17 Very Nice. Just quickly, I feel like it was, like, you know, I honestly feel like it was kind of forgettable. I liked it when it happened because for the K team, there were a lot of people that I knew on it. Like, Eungi was on it, and so that was cool. And then Sawon, Jiho, and Dongyeol were on that team, so it was kind of like, they had a lot of people who were already in groups on it. But so many people do that song, and so many people know the vibe of it, and so it's not like you can deliver much else with it. So it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best.
As we all know, I mean, none of you guys know this probably, but I do not like the vibe of the song Aju Nice.
Now that is a hot take.
It's just never been my style. I don't like the suspender dancing. I just don't like it. So it's gonna be tough for me, you know, to like the performance. But basically, all that I really have to say is that they both had weak centers. I don't think the centers to those performances on either team were really helping bring anything to the table. I think probably like the main vocal position was better for both teams, like was giving more than the center position.
I think I'd probably agree with that. So one of the other teams was Hot Sauce by NCT Dream, and you know, I feel like those were above the Danger and Burn It Up teams probably, but still not good. But I do think that's when I first started to see Park Han-bin like really doing the hard carry with the K group, and you know, he one-on-one trained all of the people in the group basically for the dancing, and he was the one who, like, in my opinion, clearly did the best at that performance.
Yeah, I think, once again, it's going to be very difficult for me to like these ones because I hate... Okay, maybe hate is too strong of a word because there are worse songs and worse NCT songs, but I just have never been a fan of Hot Sauce. But I didn't like the Hot Sauce performances, but even without my taste involved, like, the vocals were rough. The vocals were pretty rough for Hot Sauce on both teams.
Yeah, they were. But overall, like, both teams, overall vibe that they were giving the songs, or not vibe really, but like the way they were singing them, the tones were honestly kind of like less grating than actual Hot Sauce, because it wasn't like that high toned part that makes me like not like Hot Sauce very much. And so like these ones didn't have that, and so that honestly was kind of making it better. But yeah, the last G versus K performance that there was Stray Kids Backdoor. And honestly, you know, it was this performance, again, spoiler alert, this whole time, if you're still listening, you are getting spoiled at everything. So I'm assuming you're okay with spoilers. But spoiler alert, just in case you randomly skipped into the middle of the episode expecting to not be spoiled. The K group Stray Kids Backdoor cover got the chance to go to M Countdown because they won overall for like every G versus K performance. And I do think it's pretty iconic. Like, I don't really like the Stray Kids Backdoor performances in general, but I think that this team, I mean, they had the Stray Kids member in it. Like, you know, Jungwoo is so Stray Kids vibe.
Absolutely.
So it totally worked. And, you know, I thought they did a good job. Like, I'm not mad that that team got to go to M Countdown.
Yeah. I think that the Stray Kids boy, that's what I call him, Jungwoo, he really like helped just pull the whole performance together. I will say that no one asked for the ab reveal.
There were a lot of uncalled for ab reveals during the G versus K performances.
Yeah, it's like everyone knew that there was going to be an ab reveal and Burn It Up because that's part of the choreography. And so they thought, oh, we can't be outdone, so we have to do an ab reveal too. Someone hurry up, do an ab reveal. But no one asked for that. But also, I will say that the G team probably thought that Ricky being stylized like Felix or that other boy that always has blonde hair from Stray Kids could carry them the same way that Jungwoo looking like a Stray Kids member carried them. But it didn't work. The G group backdoor team seemed very disjointed to me.
Yeah, I had gone back. Like, I haven't seen all of them a second time, but I did go back and watch probably most of them, you know, the ones that were bearable. Like, not recently, but kind of close to when they happened. I had watched them again to see the full versions. And, you know, the G group, it wasn't the worst, but I feel like everybody was hyping it up as much as the K group. But I do think, like, personally, that the K group outperformed in all aspects.
Yeah, their performance to me, it just seemed more cohesive for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for those. Yes, and next up we have the dual position battles as the second sort of performances that they're going to be doing on stage. And the thing that I will say really quickly about this overall is that I was very confused as to the consistency of the prompt. So when I heard the dual position battles, I thought, okay, each person is going to have to be doing two positions. So like if you have dual position rap dance, then you will be rapping and you'll be dancing. If you have dual position vocal rap, then you will be singing and you'll be rapping. And that was the case for some performances, but then there were other performances where it was like some of the people sang, some of the people rapped, and that was considered a vocal rap dual position battle. I'm like, I don't get it. I thought everyone had to do two positions, but apparently not.
Yeah. So let me start off with the home team, I guess. 17 home. Now that was like all I really have to say about that is that I think Jungwoo hard carried. Like he did the choreography right and had like some cool ideas. It wasn't really a standout for me, but I thought that he brought some cool ideas to the table, so it made it what it was, really.
Yeah, I thought it was quite boring, honestly. I don't think that Home by 17 is as boring as this home performance was, and I'll just say that this is the point at which I was sort of noticing Jay's dancing skill level and thought that it would be important for people to just consider his dancing skill level if they're going to be talking about Hui so much and if they're going to equate Hui and Jay. It was during this performance that I did specifically think of that. So even though I mentioned it for the previous one, it was here that I was like, oh, Jay's maybe a little bit, but you know, that's all.
Yeah. So another team was the Gang team, and that honestly, they did the best that they could with a literal meme song.
I said they did the most with a garbage song.
Yeah, so basically that's all that I have to say. I feel bad for Seunghwan once again. Everybody should have been voting for Seunghwan from the beginning. He shouldn't have had to go to that team. It was unfair, but you know, he did the best that he could.
Yeah, he really did a great job, and otherwise, I believe that the song was disturbing.
Yeah, so then let's see. We have the Law team, which I want to say I thought they did a good job, but I didn't really feel that when I watched it in the actual episode. I only felt that, I felt they did good enough when I watched the episode. I was like, the camera work is so bad, I have to watch the full version because, I just feel like the camera work was really bad for that team. But it was a little, the song in general was weird, and I thought that the flag element was really unnecessary. It was giving TOO, TO1, very, very Road to Kingdom performance.
Road to Kingdom, definitely.
And I just, I thought it almost took away because it cheapened it a little bit.
Yeah, I just think it was a throwaway song, and it was basically a dance cover.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was a very fair thing to have in the lineup. I know that they had those rap parts at the beginning, but so much of the song, I'm pretty sure, is just backtracking. Towards the whole end is just backtracking. They're not even singing at that point, so they just had to go up on stage and dance. And so, yeah, it looks like they're doing a good job at dancing, but they're not doing a dual position, really.
Yeah, it was there were definitely some weird song choices for this position. And
it didn't seem balanced.
Yeah, if people don't know, these weren't songs that the groups came up with that they wanted to perform. It was same with the K versus G battle too. Their songs are presented to them and they have to make a selection based on the options that they're given.
Yeah, there's no, it's mnet and the show that is choosing that these songs are going to be the songs that are used, so they should have known how to make them balanced.
Yeah. Okay, Zoom team, I'm just gonna say it's iconic at this point. However, I'm not totally behind the whole performance in general. I'm behind the team, and I get the spirit of the Zoom team, but I think that the different raps really threw me off too much because they're I'm used to Jessie, but it wasn't her words, so it I couldn't get into it as much.
It was completely not my style at all. You said you're on board with the vibe of it or something. No, I am just so far away from that. I'm just I still I didn't like it then, don't like it now. I just this is not for me. It definitely just not for me. But I recognize that they were skilled in what they did. It's just really not my style.
Mm-hmm.
It might seem like I hate K-pop, but because so many of these songs I'm saying I don't like the style of, but I have a very particular genre that I like, and they don't do it very often on this show, apparently.
Yeah.
Not a very particular, but just I don't enjoy things as easily as other people do when it comes to music genres.
Yeah. Yeah. You do, however, enjoy Monsta X, and they did a Monsta X song. They did Love Killa.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, they did that.
You know what I have written here as the first thing in my notes?
What?
Not my Love Killa.
Yeah, not mine either, because they had people that were, it seemed like they had, a good enough team vibe. It was kind of funny when they had the behind stuff of them practicing for that song, but like, it was not giving what Love Killa needs to give. It wasn't, like, the parts, the parts that I'm talking about that were completely not executed well.
Am I going too harshly into pointing out over and over again people that are ruining the performances, or no?
I mean, it's getting a little, some hot takes are being had, there's some tea is being spilled, but that's up to you.
Well, this is all in an effort of balancing things out and having fairness, okay? Because, like I said, people keep wanting to criticize Hui for his dancing abilities, right? That keeps coming back up. But everyone is blind to all of these other people that are also not delivering in dance. They're just not. If I'm trying to be as, like, impartial and unbiased towards Hui as I can be, then I will say, I think he has no problem picking up choreography. He has no problem executing dance moves. He has no problem, keeping up with the younger kids. Like, I don't see any of those things. If there's anything that I would say about, and he has no problem displaying emotions, conveying emotions, the proper emotions through the choreography. I'd say the only thing that Hui would be lacking, if you want to say he's lacking in dance, is that, and I'm sorry Hui, like, I'm just trying to be impartial, okay? I would say that he doesn't have that extra, like, factor when it comes to dance that makes him seem like a dancer. Some people when they dance, it's like, oh wow, they're a dancer, right?
Right.
I feel like that's the only thing that he doesn't have that would make people be like, thinking that he's lacking somewhere. He doesn't, like, when he does the dance moves, they don't have that extra special touch.
Yeah.
But like
I'd say Q from The Boys has that.
Yeah, or like Shonu from Monsta X has that, people that would be typically labeled as dancers. He doesn't have that, but he is in no way like, Takuto, who struggles to keep up with the choreography, struggles to learn it, struggles to execute the dance moves, right? Or
it doesn't look bad when he's performing either.
Yeah, the either of the men that performed the 2 p.m. song, they both seem to struggle to learn and keep up with the choreography. Hui is not like that at all. And so in Love Killa, there was no one that was like that, that was struggling to keep up, I don't think. But there were some people that seemed to have some okay, I'm going to say it. Cuban, okay?
Oh, no. It's here.
He, for me personally, ruined the performance in terms of, like, the dance. Like, I was just trying to watch the performance, right? And so you watch the dancers, and without trying to watch any particular dancer, Cuban was standing out to me, and I think I realized why. His body and his limbs are so long that even though he's seemingly on beat still, his arms are, like, taking too long to move to the same places that people who have shorter arms have to move. And so it's looking like he's lagging behind a little bit. It's almost like everyone else is on the middle of the beat and he, like, gets there on the very end of the beat. It was distracting to me. Without me trying to, like, watch him. Like, my attention was drawn to him.
I think that's a very clear, like, example to show how it, like, people maybe shouldn't just be voting for him because of some reasons that clearly don't have anything to do with his talent, because yeah, like, it's more difficult for, like, taller people to dance, so he could be trained more to learn how to move better and look less awkward in performances, and clearly he hasn't achieved that yet. So people are voting for him and hyping him up for something that clearly isn't his talent.
Exactly.
Or at least not his dancing, because I think that team, to me, I think a lot of it had to do with the outfits, but when I think of that, I think of the word stiff. Like, I thought it was stiff.
Yeah, and like I know we didn't talk about, like I just brought up Takuto, but we haven't talked about Takuto in his performance yet. But he's so small and he's lacking in dance, but like my eye doesn't get drawn to him in the performances because it's less noticeable. But Cuban, if he's going to be off at all, you're going to see it. And so that's all I could see when watching that performance. So I just it's bothersome to me.
I think Sawon did good, even though that song doesn't seem like his style at all, but I thought it was unfair because he didn't really get any recognition for it when I thought he was the best one there. And like, even I think that was the week, that must have been the team that I think it was actually Solji who was like, oh, like, you guys like are all stars or something, or like how many of you are all stars, haha. But it was just like Sawon standing there without the all-star jacket on, and it's like he's the only one without a jacket. Like, you clearly,
like, are you dumb?
so that was like annoying, and I was like, why would you say that?
Yeah, I think him and Sok Matthew did good, like they carried it, and then Cuban and Jung just were there for reasons that should not be reasons that they should be there as an idol. Like they were, I don't see what they brought to the performance besides people supposedly thinking that they're handsome. Like can they do a perfectly okay job? Sure, but they didn't bring anything extra.
Yeah, I would agree. The Not Spring Lover Cherry Blossoms team, I don't have anything to say about. It was completely forgettable. I totally forgot that it was even performed, and it was only 3 people, so I don't have anything to say about that.
All I have to say is that I cannot believe that boy that did such a bad job in Danger made it another week. And then this is one of the ones that really frustrated me with the dual position aspect, because I'm pretty sure the Blue House, the 2 p.m. Blue House boy did all of the rap, and then the other 3 boys just did singing. So like, how is that dual position? They didn't do 2 positions. They just sang. They didn't even sing and dance. They just sang.
Yeah, the challenge should have been explained in some sort of different way.
Yeah.
Rush Hour team had Sungmin on it, and I feel very bad for him. It was his like official rap debut. He did great.
I'm feeling like a funky boy.
Yeah, I feel bad for Sungmin. Everybody should have voted for him. He got treated like he got nothing, and he deserved everything.
Yeah, he really, like, he put his heart and his soul into pulling that team together, and to deal with what he had to deal with was disgusting. And for how much that one boy was complaining and freaking out about needing to practice the dance, for then how ungodly simple it looked. They looked like they were dancing in slow motion. That's how simple the dance was. Like, dude, you should not be on this show then. If you are losing your mind saying that you need time to practice this dance, and that is the dance that you needed to practice, then what are you here for? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Feel Special team, jumping into another instance. Feel bad for Eungi. We talked about this in episode 2. He hard carried. He deserved more. He got nothing. Just he was the only reason that performance was probably even put on stage. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Jerome and Eungi both, you can see how much, either just how they're like good people maybe, or how much they truly want to be idols and want to succeed, because they both did everything they could to make sure that their teams had something to perform on stage, because both of their teams were pathetic in terms of spirit,
Yeah.
And so I already talked about it too much in episode 2. I talked about Eungi and the Feel Special performance, so I won't go too much into detail. I'll just say once again, this is coming from a non-Eungi and non-Twice fan. I'm not saying this as the way that I talk about Hui. Everyone is not going to care about anything I say that's good about Hui, because they're like, oh, she likes Hui, so of course she's going to talk well about him. But like, I don't even like Twice. I don't even like Feel Special. Like, it's not my style. And Eungi did incredible. Like, He carried so hard. He sang the entire chorus himself. I just want to point out that it's not even coming from a biased place that I'm saying that.
Yeah, even if I had never seen Ungi before, I would be like, I can't believe he didn't win.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Feel Special team. The limousine team was only 3 members, but I thought they actually did really good.
Yeah, me too. I think that they had a very, very cohesive looking group. Like I didn't feel like those were 3 trainees who were slapped together to do a performance randomly for a week. Like they seemed like a group.
Yeah, it was giving, this is my high school band.
Yeah.
In like a good way though.
Yeah.
Like I thought their performance was good. It was, it was like emotionally like powerful. Like their raps and individual lyrics were good. It even had Christian, which if you heard episode 2, you know how we felt about him, but seeing him in that performance wasn't bothersome.
Yeah, like it was scary, but like I feel like that was the intention.
Yeah. So I thought they did good, even though they all got eliminated. So that's sad.
Yeah, they did good. And the other thing I really liked about it is that all 3 of them sang and all 3 of them rapped. It was very truly their dual position vocal rap. They all showed that they could very well do all of those things. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, Butterfly by BTS was another performance. I think it was a really good song to cover. I thought it was like fresh. And I totally get Kwon Lee performing that. I thought he did a really nice job with the choreography. I feel really bad for the guy who lacked confidence and didn't, like, he couldn't pull through in the end. Brian, I thought he was giving nothing.
He was the weak link.
Yeah.
Like, even though the other boy had no confidence, like, Brian was giving no thing, like you said.
Yeah. I think Kong really, it wasn't the strongest performance, but I thought, like, I think with more training, his voice, I might have said this in a different episode, or I might have just said it as a comment at some point, but I think his voice is really nice and it can have that Renjun factor. Like, I think it's just not, he hasn't been trained enough, I guess. But I think he's an individual trainee, so that makes sense. But I thought his voice was really adding something special to the performance, but overall, the performance wasn't that great. There were a lot of, like, little blunders.
Yeah, it was a little rough. And I just think it was a little bit weird for it to be like a dance. It was vocal dance, right?
Yeah, probably.
So if it was vocal dance and then like the big like dance portion that they had was just that one boy doing a solo thing. Like,
that was kind of weird how he got like a solo.
Yeah, I just feel like couldn't everyone have been dancing at that part, even if he had like a more featured section? But yeah. I mean, maybe they were dancing, but not, it was basically just watch this one boy dance.
Yeah. Okay. The Man in Love team, Infinite's Man in Love, was covered, and I am going to say that this was probably my favorite one. Yes,
oh my God.
Even beating Tomboy, okay? Like, I like that song a lot. I like Tomboy too, and he was literally in Tomboy, but just there's something about when, like, they do
performing a punk song. Yeah.
Maybe it was the sadness that Seunghwan got kicked, and so it was like the team was bitter.
Oh,
I had like a bitter feel about the whole situation with that team. I don't know, but I think it's something about when Infinite songs are performed on shows like that just really gets to me, and like I just think they sound so good when they're performed, so I just naturally was going to like that song more anyway. But even Mingyu, I thought, did a fine enough job. Like, I didn't think they made it seem like during practice and stuff, oh my gosh, this guy, he's screaming and it's really bad. And it's like, yikes, Mingyu, how is he going to pull this off? I didn't think it was offensive.
I mean, I definitely feel like his singing was not as strong as the other people's. Like I'm saying, he didn't sound like a perfectly good singer. Like, he still seemed like he was kind of like a little bit bad.
Yeah.
But I did say, or like my thoughts on it were, it was not bad. It had good energy. Like, I really it was similar to the limousine performance. Like they felt like they were up there as a group performing. Like, I really got that.
I felt a lot of emotion from it.
Yeah, it did only have 2 of the people rapping, so once again, not dual position in my mind, but I just like I would be reluctant to say that it was like the best performance or something when like there were clearly still some weak moments, some weak people.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think it was, I said not bad.
Like
not
I don't
bad.
know if like I probably wouldn't say skill wise overall it was the best, like, but it was probably my favorite. Yeah. Okay, and Tomboy performance, which we just talked about. He was in that, and they covered Idol's Tomboy.
Hanbin doesn't fit that at all. I'm sorry, I'm just saying he does not fit that at all. I call hacks on him choosing to go to that one. It does not fit him at all. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows his brand and what fits him. And I know some people like Sock Matthew is like, oh, I want to do something a little different than my brand. Show people I can do something different, okay? Hanbin, sure, show people you can do something different, whatever. But don't kick out people that would have been so much better in the group vibe.
Yeah. I agree. Hanbin didn't fit that performance. I want to say Zhang Hao, though, did really good.
He killed it.
He did really good. Hui, obviously, he did really good. Hui did really good.
Of course, he killed it as well.
Ganuk, he did really good, but I didn't like his rap, but I don't like Soyeon's rap either. So it was kind of like, I wasn't... It wasn't really taking anything away because there wasn't really anything there for me.
Like, it wasn't like he ruined a good part.
Right.
I don't have any problem with his rap. Like, I didn't mind it at all. So I thought they all did really great. I just don't think that Hanbin fit the vibe as well as other people could have fit the vibe that were previously standing to pick that song before he told them to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely, not referencing anything specific.
Yeah,
and if you watch the actual episode, you definitely won't be able to see exactly who and what we're talking about.
Yeah. But, good for Hanbin for, getting to be in the group with some of the top people and some of the most talked about and important people. Good for him for doing that again, because if he didn't, he might not have been featured,
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, those were all the dual position battle performances. The last performances that we have to talk about are the artist battle performances. Those are the most recent ones that we've seen because, like we said, there hasn't been a finale yet. And so there was an elimination that took place, and there were 5 songs that, the fans voted for these people to get assigned to one of the 5 songs. Fans got to hear a snippet of the song, and they, the trainees themselves got to be like, oh, I really would like to do this song.
New songs, not a song
right.
that is from another group that already
songs
exists.
And dances were made for this show so that they could perform it for this battle. And so the fans could vote to assign a trainee to a certain song, but they could get kicked into a different song because after the elimination took place, some of the groups were overcrowded still, and some of the groups had literally only one person left in them, so they had to take people and move them into different groups.
Yeah, they had to rebalance the teams after the eliminations happened,
which was really dumb because the people who got eliminated were literally practicing the parts. They had to learn the songs and practice them only to not even be able to perform anything, and people who were practicing but didn't get eliminated got kicked to other teams.
Yeah, very rigged to be like some of you are going to have a huge disadvantage.
Yeah. So let's talk about Switch Team.
And honestly, actually, just before, not only is it some people are going to be rigged to have a huge disadvantage, but like obviously the lower ranking people are going to be rigged to have a disadvantage, because all of the high ranking people that were in the group, for the most part, were the ones that were staying in the group, you know? And it was like, oh, if you're not good enough, we're going to have you move to another team. So it was kind of like, if you are already doing well, you also get to continue to do well because you have so long to practice this song. If you were already struggling, now struggle even harder because now you have to switch to a different song.
Yeah. So, Switch Team, I know that you don't like Keita really, or like you don't really like care about him. But I feel bad that he had to switch to that team because he clearly like he said that he lost confidence or whatever, and you know, we saw Ungi talk about how he lost confidence and he got barely any part once he moved to that team, and it seemed like he just like, you know, was really defeated
just
and
giving up kind of.
Same with Jongwoo. He got switched from Over Me team to be on Switch Team, and he probably felt pretty betrayed because he was doing all of the like organization for the Over Me team, and they all voted him out.
Yeah, like he basically was putting together the whole performance, and they're like, okay, thanks for that, now bye.
Yeah, so like,
and
I would
good
feel
too. Like
so
he's
bad.
it's not even like he was a low-ranking person. He's very hyped. You know, like he was popular with the fans.
He rose so much in rank from the first week. He has been to M Countdown before, so I don't know why they kicked him.
It was really nasty.
Yeah.
I thought the Switch performance was the worst, but like part of why I thought it was the worst, like I think a large part of that was simply the styling. Like it was so bad. Like I was like, I don't want to watch this. It's so ugh. But like I think there was another performance that possibly had worse overall skill level. This one didn't seem to have the worst skill level. I just like, it was like, no, why are they doing this?
Yeah, I thought there were good elements to the styling, but like the colored pins and the cat ears were tasteful in my opinion. However, overall, there were definitely some choices that I detest. The Felixification of one of the contestants, if you understand that, I did not like that personally. And the song, I definitely thought the song was the worst of all the options. So it was like, it was lackluster. But that team had a lot of people who were switched to that team because Park Hanbin was going to be on Guard, and Tere, I think, was going to be on Say My Name. But they both got moved, and like, you know, it wasn't horrible, but it was nothing special.
Yeah. I mean, I did think it was kind of horrible, but it was like hard to look at.
Yeah. Okay, Supercharger team was another team where a lot of people, they had to move to that team because literally only Haruto was left on it. Supercharger is like Zoom team with the fans, I think. It's another iconic, like not necessarily because it was super good, just because literally Haruto was the only one left and he had to take in these other people, and like Ungi was there, Son was there. They got switched and had to kind of quickly work to create their performance because they were all going from something else to this team. And, you know, Supercharger is like so weird and random of a song, but it's got that like, it's like ironically good vibe. So, you know, it wasn't an outstanding performance skill wise, but it was like fun.
Yeah, this is the one that I like reluctantly rank higher than Switch because overall, I do think that a lot of the people, not a lot, I think that some of the people had clearly worse skills in this group, but the song and the styling I think was a little bit better for me. And then also the like Haruto really carried the vibes, but like it was a little bit awkward because I felt like quite a few of the other people that were in the group just couldn't fully, convey the right energy for me. Like, they did their parts perfectly fine, but like I just, I wasn't getting it from them. They weren't selling it.
Yeah, not only was this team made of people that got pushed to that team, but it was like people you definitely wouldn't expect to do Supercharger.
Yeah, like it was not their brand.
Yeah. Okay, Over Me was the performance that won overall. So they're getting a whole bunch of benefits and stuff, and it was the team that, like Keita and Jongwoo got kicked from. I am probably going to like get criticized for not really caring about it, seeing as it won, but like I thought it was nothing special and it's overhyped. Like I just thought that it seemed like I was watching the people who like choreographed it. Like it looked like a dance team performing it, not people I've been watching on this show. It seemed like I didn't get enough personality from it to care about it.
If you think you're going to get criticized for that, just try being me right now. I hated it. I mean, it's absolutely not my style at all. Do not enjoy that sort of thing. Like, ugh, gross. Hated it. But anytime people are dancing with like strips of cloth, I usually don't like it. Like, that's just a genre that I do not like.
Yeah, see, I usually like that, but I didn't like it here.
But yeah, so I did not like that genre just in general. I thought it was way too long. I'm like, please, can this be over yet?
It did seem really long.
Yeah, it was so like drawn out, just dragging on and on. I did not like it. I did not like the song. I did not like the dance. I did not like the styling. But then also, people are going to think this is weird. But I kind of thought that, that one boy that has been brought up multiple times, that the dancer does the lyrical dancing.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of thought, maybe he was the only one doing it right because he's such a good dancer, but like it was the same effect as Love Killa with Gyubin. When I was watching this performance, my eye was being drawn to him for like somehow doing it differently. Like I just felt like, oh, there's something off, and it like kept going back to him. I'm like, oh, what was that? Who was that? Like it seemed like it was just different somehow. I don't know if he was doing the moves more like emphatically or something, but it was not meshing together for me.
Yeah, I didn't even really like I can't remember anybody really from that performance because nobody stood out to me. I just thought it was like as if I was watching people I don't have any idea who they are performing. Say My Name team was a team with Sunghan Bin, and so you know what that means. It's going to, it's going to
seem like it was given to us as a blessing from God, apparently.
Yeah. I do like it. Like, I really like the song itself. I thought it was going to be one of the best songs because I like that light vibe that it has. But I thought that, like, the performance itself wasn't like outstanding. Like I didn't take away being like, oh, these people, everybody did such a great job. They had such, their dance skills were great. Their vocals were really showcased. Like I didn't leave with any specific feeling about it, except that I enjoyed it, I guess.
That is so spot on with what I'm saying. Like, well, I have a slightly different take, but like at the same time, the same take. So like, this is not my concept either. The school concept.
What is your concept?
The light concept. Well, we'll get to it in another second. But so this is also not really my concept, But overall, I thought, it wasn't bad. Not bad at all, but just also not special. Like, I didn't get anything from it, really. It was, it's like there's nothing I could point out that was like, oh, but this person couldn't do this part properly. These vocals were weak. Oh, this person stood out with the dancing. No, all just perfectly cohesive and fine. But like, I didn't feel anything extra. There was no star factor for me. It was just like another performance. Good, but not special.
Yeah. The last performance is On Guard.
My brand.
There it is, her brand.
I like Monsta X. I liked, I was supposed to have liked Love Killa earlier. And then another thing that I would like is On Guard. Like, I knew right when I listened to the tracks that this would be the song that was the one that I would like. And it got to be the one that a lot of good people were on.
Yeah, like Hui and Seunghwan.
Yeah.
It's too bad. It's too bad that people who could have been really good on it were either eliminated or kicked to different teams.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. I think, I didn't like the choreography when I saw the little preview. Like, I don't like that hand movement near the head. But like, I like this song. Like, I don't know why. I just don't like that move. It looks silly to me.
What you're talking about.
Like when they actually are saying On Guard. Like, I don't like that move that they do. But that doesn't mean that I like didn't like the song overall, because it was probably like clearly one of the best song options. It sounds like it doesn't sound like a song made for Boys Planet.
Yeah.
Like Switch kind of sounds like that, just like a little bit throwaway.
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
It really is.
But like, it sounded like a good actual song. I was glad to get to see Hui do that, because it definitely fits him the most, like probably out of all the options. But they got robbed. But what can we expect? Because it was Hui's team. He's on it. And Seunghwan apparently is falling into the getting robbed category that Hui is under.
It was ridiculous. I loved it. And part of the reason, obviously, that I loved it was because it was my favorite, aesthetic styling vibe. Yeah, like, so obviously I'm going to like it. But I thought they did a really great job. Not only did Hui have some great notes, like every time Hui has been singing in every one of these performances, I'm like, oh my god, he's done it again. But also Seunghwan, his note, he had a great note too.
Main vocal Seunghwan, like, come on, finally, like finally, okay. I was waiting because I was like, he is getting nothing. Like, they are not letting him do performances that showcase his talent. Like, he can do everything, but he hasn't been showing that he is very he's an all-rounder. They haven't been showing that he is an all-rounder.
Yeah, like, he's rapping one song and he's doing high notes the next. I was shook. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. What even is his position? It's everything.
Yeah, and since he's Tony Boy, I was really glad to see him actually get to do a performance with Hui.
Yeah.
He almost had that. He almost had that in one of the weeks.
Yeah.
But
he literally does look so much like Tony. If you're a new listener, Tony Hongsuk from Pentagon. That's what we call him. But anyway, I think even the boy that loves to scream, even he did a good job.
That's Junhyun, in case people aren't familiar.
Oh, yeah. And then I will say once again, not to point it out too much, but I think Gyubin was the weak link in terms of the dancing at the very least. I think there's a reason that they put him at like the end of the line in the shadowy part of the stage for some of it. I think they all knew, but apparently no one else can seem to know. No one else can seem to see it.
Yeah.
Because he won, right? He got all the votes again.
Probably.
I believe we were disgusted by the fact that happened again.
I don't remember. Like, I really don't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, well, maybe he didn't.
I mean, I was surprised when I saw, if that's true. I don't know.
If you're gonna be okay with his dancing, then be okay with Hui's and stop yelling at him. That's all I'm saying. Gunnook, I think, did a great job as well.
Mm-hmm. And Hiroto, honestly, I feel bad because I like don't ever recognize him.
Yeah, falls a little like by the wayside, like, kind of. He doesn't get as much impact, maybe, but he's not bad. Like,
yeah, it's good.
He's never
like, he's not
drawing
standing out
for
being
a bad reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what I'll say about On Guard is that it has the winner print, but it didn't win. It didn't win overall, and the only reason I can think is because of the unfairness and injustice that occurred, and the fact that Hui was on it. So there's going to be that kind of unfairness naturally because it's apparently his misfortune or something. But, apparently the situation was actually unfair, because even though in the actual episode it didn't look like they were the last team to perform, like they didn't air it that way, but they actually were there, or they actually were the last to perform. And according to people in the live audience, the live voters, this is apparent, like it's just like, I wasn't in the audience, but, there were people with cameras that got kicked out by the time the On Guard team performed. So their score was significantly lower than even the other groups that performed thought it would be.
Yeah, everyone was shocked by how low the number was.
Yeah, so definitely unfair if that is actually the case.
Yeah, there were literally less people available to vote, so there were less, the number was lower. And you might be thinking, well, who cares? They didn't win this little thing, they can't go on mnet or whatever. But no, the benefit points are what is carrying some of these people through. And so if a wrong team is getting benefit points because the voting was unfairly balanced, then that's not going to be good for overall, like, the fairness of the end results. Like, the benefit points are getting so large at this point that it literally can be the reason that someone gets in or doesn't get in. So someone could be getting in next week because they got benefit points that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten if the same number of people had voted during every performance.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure if there were the, mnet popular trainees on the On Guard team, it would have won.
Yeah, like they wouldn't have let it be imbalanced voting like that.
Yeah.
If it was Hanbin's group that the cell phones or the cameras were supposed to be kicked out for, they would have been like, well, we can't kick them out yet because then the voting will be unfair.
Yeah. So those were all the performances that we've seen so far. There's still another elimination that has to happen, and then the final performances, I'm assuming, and then the final lineup.
Yeah, I'm already completely 100% prepared to highly dislike the final lineup, but it is what it is, I suppose. That is all we have for now, I guess. Those are all the performances.
There will be another episode about Boys Planet from us when the final lineup happens, so just be prepared to hear our takes on that.
Which I can tell you already are probably going to be unhappiness from me personally, so be prepared for that.
Thank you for listening. If you want to share any of your takes, you can do so by leaving a comment, and subscribe to the BlushCat channel and turn on the notifications. If you're not listening on YouTube, that means you're listening wherever else the BlushCat podcast is available. So thanks for that. And
don't forget to like the video if you're watching on the video.
Don't forget to like the video. That's right. Thank you. This has been Almond
and me. Bye.
Meow 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 meow.